Hey, and welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be a little different, and I'm actually going to be reviewing your CVs, resumes, GitHub app repo that you have, as well as personal websites. So if that's something that actually interests you, first of all, then I've actually got a link in my description box where you can fill out a form so that, maybe in a future video, you might get featured. You never know. You got to play a lottery, right? But one of the main aims of this video is to show you what you should be doing with your showcase to basically get either your first role or your next role, and things you should look out for and things that you should be doing to help you land that. So if that's something that interests you, then be sure to stick around for the rest of this video. So one of the main aims as to why I decided to even do a video like this is because I actually help, the company I work for basically interview and hire a lot of iOS and Android developers. So giving you this knowledge to me is a bit of a no-brainer because I can just share this to you for free. Now, if you're someone who wants to see and know what you should be doing on your showcase, for a first job or, your next job, or maybe you just want a bit of inspiration from this video, then this is a great way for you to actually get started because I'm going to be going through a whole range of portfolios to give you inspiration as well as offer, constructive criticism. Don't worry, I'm not going to be a turd. And I'll basically as well, give you hype, hype you up if you've been doing something well. Don't worry, I'm looking out for you, man. So all of y'all are pretty important to me, so I don't want to be hurting anyone's feelings. So you may be wondering why even have a portfolio in the first place? Well, you actually do need a way to sell yourself without being too cringy. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and that quote is so true because looking at something visually basically gives you an idea. If you go to McDonald's and you see a Big Mac and it looks great, you're gonna want to buy it. But if you see something that looks
What
doo-doo,
is
you're
that?
not really want to go and buy it, are you? A portfolio is a great way to actually get your name out there and showcase what you do. And as someone who's helped, his workplace hire devs, and this is something that I personally look forward to since it lets me see what it is that you can do. Now, I also review CVs, or if you're American, resumes, but essentially, this is something that should be a bit of a backup for your main showcase to showcase your work, kind of like how Warhammer is a bit of a ride or die for Iron Man. Rest in peace. Now, as someone who's helped hire, those devs as well, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and opinions on things that I like to see. So, without further ado, let's get into our first dev review. So the first portfolio that I'm going to be reviewing here is Alexis Orellano. So she's an iOS developer, and when I actually load up her website for the first time, I get obviously this nice animation here, telling me almost like an inspirational quote, and there's a nice illustration here as well. She's an iOS developer and she's looking for a full-time iOS engineer position. Now, this is my first time going on this website, so me does my first thought straight away is I feel like this animation that you have here, it would actually be good if instead of you having this animation here, you maybe had pictures of the apps that you were working on so you can kind of showcase that off. And then that way I basically get a, impression of like what it is you've worked on and what scale it was as well. So that's something that I personally would recommend as well. And I do think that, the, width of the container is quite small and you could utilize a lot more space. So I'd probably look at moving this more to the left hand side, and also below your name, maybe adding a short description about, about me. So I'm assuming that you do have an about me down below, but just move some of the key points so I can get to know you, onto the, this bit of the page here so I can see that. So let's just scroll down a bit more. And on the portfolio, so I can see here that there's quite a few apps and you have a link to your GitHub and also view details. So these pictures of these apps is what I would actually move. So I'd actually move these pictures here so I can see that, because looking at this app, the movie app, is quite impressive that you built something like this as well. So it lets me know that you know how to work with an API, you can work with lists, and you also know how to handle navigation between different screens, which is what I'll get at first glance by looking at that picture. Now, if I just keep looking here, you've actually got your information about, how what the app is about and the technology that you've used. And also, this was actually a first place mobile app winner, which is great. Congrats, you know what I mean? Maybe flex this a bit more, so make it stand out with like a badge or something. So maybe it's in yellow, so it grabs my attention. And one thing I'd say about this is not to be too brutal, but when people review people's portfolios, a lot of people just skim read like this. So they won't actually just read all the text in line. So when you're actually listing out your technologies, instead of doing it on a list like this, I personally prefer for this to be, bullet, so I can just quickly scan the bullet points as well. But it's good that you wrote these out. But something else I'd also do as well is maybe write a sentence about each one in terms of what it is, it is, and how you used it and why you used it as well. So I can get some insight into how your mind works when you comes to you building a project. So you've also got a, button here to go to your GitHub. So I just click on this, it'll take me to your GitHub, which is cool. But on your GitHub, you might want to add like a bit of a README. You can even copy the information from your website here with pictures, so I can just visually see and scan over, what this project is. And also as well, you have a button that allows me to view details too. So if I click on this view details, I can just see like images of your, screens within the app. So personally, what I would do is instead of having these with a grid with a short, list here, I would just bullet point these and maybe just have it where it's like a carousel that I can just scroll through to see like different screens within the app, and go into more detail about like what it is that you did here in terms of like the architecture. Is there anything special you use? Is there any libraries that you use? Is there any kind of like login or techniques that you've used? Was there any challenges that you face? I want to learn all of that here as well. So if I just scroll down here, you do have code snippets, and literally what I just said, you do have here. So all of this stuff in terms of how you actually tackle this is really good. So what I would do here is that you do have the code snippets, which is good, but all the stuff I mentioned before, instead of you actually having that, like you have here, I would actually just have a link to the file within the repo, so I can just basically view your information in GitHub. But the way you've explained all the stuff here in terms of how you handled the caching and stuff, it looks really, looks really decent. So yeah, it looks really good, and I can see how you've handled like the threading and all that kind of stuff. So this is really good work here. And also as well, your core data stack, you got that there and it looks decent as well. So I just scroll down and you've got some market research. So you have got the information here that I was also talking about. And I think it's just literally, in my opinion, just moving stuff more together and making it more concise, and then providing links to information that I can go and read more later. But in terms of you scrolling down, if you have the time to scroll down, you do show off a lot of information. So I'm just gonna go back to the main page. I'm just gonna scroll down and go past all of these other apps. And you've also got some work here in Android, so this is good as well. And yeah, what I mentioned before you're about. So this text here, in my opinion, could actually be way up above, could actually be like underneath this area here. So you can just, I can get a, clear, brief information about you and who you are as a person, rather than me having to scroll all the way down. So I just make that your main thing standing out. And if I just keep scrolling down, you got your contact information here as well, and your social links as well, and some things about you. So I'm assuming these are like books and, podcasts and videos that you like to listen to. So overall, I think the imagery is there, and I think the content is there as well. I think all that just needs to happen is that you just need to like kind of just like group this together, just clean it up a bit more, and you'd have a really good portfolio here as well. So as a, base starting point that you've got here, I think this is really decent, but just take that advice on board that I gave before. Okay, cool. So the next developer that we're going to be looking at is Joe Pham. So this is, oh man, he's based in Toronto, Canada. I'm so jealous, man. I actually went on holiday to Toronto. Amazing place. But the first thing I get here is oof, a lot of information. So when I'm actually looking at this, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm gonna do this because I have this video, but in my day-to-day job, if I was looking at this, I probably would like skim read it. So I'd actually suggest maybe cutting down the text a bit more to only the key information, about yourself that you feel like you want to express that, your personality and what's important to you. And also as well, I'd look at maybe showing off your key skills in here as well and really condense it so you can make up more of the space to show off more of your work on your website. So we'll go scroll down and you have your social links there, which is good. So I can quickly just, see your GitHub, Twitter, LinkedIn if I want to do some snooping. And if I scroll down, I'll see your projects here as well. So when I'm looking at this, again, similar thing. So I feel like similar to the first portfolio that I was, reviewing, you could turn this into a two-column layout. So you could actually have an image of your project on the right-hand side and some text with like bullet points on the left-hand side. So it's just clear for me to see everything in one digestible chunk rather than me having to scroll down. So I do like this button to go to the source code. So if I click on this, it's going to take me directly to the repo, which is really good. And looking at the repo as well, I like this. It tells me what it's about. It also shows me the concepts that were used within the project. I have pictures of like what the screens are within the application. This is really good and really, really well good. The only thing that I would suggest as well to improve this repo page is the bullet point. Again, you can see how I like my bullet points, but the thing with bullet points, right, is that if you put your information in bullets and it's straight to the point, someone can just quickly pick up straight away what it's all about. So maybe if you just bullet pointed like the key points with this project in terms of the architecture, challenges you face, things that you're proud of achieving, all that kind of stuff in here, it make this, even better. But this as a looking at it now, I'd be still happy reading this as well. So going back to your site, we have here some information about what the app is and what it does. So you do list here that you have, refactoring code and whatnot. Again, I personally would like a tiny bit more detail about what challenges did you face? Like, did you struggle learning core data? And if you did struggle learning core data, how did you resolve that problem? So just again, condensing that information and bullet pointing it, here would be really useful. So scrolling down again, so similar thing. So this time as well, you also have a button to try it out. So I'm assuming if I click on this, I can go to the Oh, I thought it'd be an app, but I guess it's a website, so I can play this quiz. Okay, cool. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'll probably absolutely bomb at this, so I'm not gonna do it. But if I wanted to, I could try that out. Also as well, if I keep scrolling down, we can see here, I've got that. So similar thing to what I said before, just change it to like a two-column layout and just bullet point stuff so it's more straight to the point. So I can see here that you've done it here where you've listed out like what it is that you did within this project. But reading it and looking at it, it's not obvious if I'm just just skim reading. So if you was to actually make a bit more emphasis on this and actually make it stand out with bullets and explain in more detail what you're using it for, I couldn't understand that, okay, this person knows, what it is that they're using this technology or this design pattern for, and so on and so forth. So let's scroll down and we'll keep scrolling. So I'm assuming these are people that either helped you or maybe you got inspiration from. So I can see Jody, man. Shout out to you, Jody. So Ah, okay. So these are people that you've actually helped out with translation. So okay, so this is pretty cool as well then. So sweet. Yeah, so that's some nice information for me to find out that you're actually helping out as well. And little things like this kind of show me that you actually, you're actually passionate about what it is that you're doing because you're kind of, going out of your way to basically do something to help other people within the community. So this is something that's actually really good and cool that you put on your portfolio site. And if I saw this, it would impress me and leave a good impression on me. So I think just to sum it up, similar to the first portfolio, two column layouts, bullet points, and a bit more detail about what it is that you use these technologies for, these frameworks, and why you used it. Things that you're proud of about your apps, things that you've had that were challenges and how you tackled them. These are things that I want to be hearing. So again, Joe, a good job overall, and I hope you take that feedback on board. So we're going to move on to our final person who's actually, sent in his portfolio. So his is actually a GitHub page, and that's Yash. So Yash basically wanted me to look at his GitHub page and, for me to basically give him feedback in terms of what it is that I think. The first thing that I would say looking at this is you do have a description here, but I feel like this is a bit short, a bit brief. I feel like you put a lot of effort into this, and I'm assuming that it's a lot more than that. So think about what it is that your app does, right? So what are the features that your app includes? And again, my favorite word, bullet point it. So but if bullet point it, make it stand out so it's clear in terms of what it is that your app actually does, right? So this is a bit too short for me, and I'd like some more information about it. So you could even list stuff like the technologies, what version of Swift are you using? I know you do say UI kit there, but is it programmatic layout? Is it storyboards, architecture and whatnot? Because this is me getting my first impression looking at this, and to me, it's like, oh, it's a dictionary app. Okay, cool. But I want to be like wowed when I look at this repo. So let's keep on going now. So if I keep scrolling down, I've got screenshots of the screens within the app. So these are obviously, what's in the application. Now, in my opinion, I know I said in the other examples that they had pictures as well, but I'll be honest with you, I personally think that screenshots work as well alongside GIFs because the reason why GIFs are so good in my opinion is that they give me the visual, aspects of how the application works without me having to ever download the app on off the App Store. So I can see how your app works and functions, if there's any animations that you've included that you might not be able to show off in a screenshot. So I'd actually suggest maybe putting in a GIF to showing how it works, and then in here you can have a breakdown of the screens within your application. So I break this down into screenshots, and then I'd have another section that says, video showcase. And above that, I'd have some information about what this is, features, architecture, any challenges you face, anything that you're proud of. Like you want to put that forefront and center to catch my attention. So I'm gonna keep scrolling down. And I can see here that you have the additional information. So in my opinion, this stuff that you have here should actually be at the top because I want to basically read about this at the top, and I would just put a GIF into this section somewhere so that I can get a visual representation of what it is that you've built. So I feel like you just want to literally just reverse the order of this. So looking at this is literally everything that I just said before, but it was buried at the bottom. So yeah, this is all good. Currently working on you explain that you're looking at unit tests. So I know that you're looking to work on unit tests, and well, once you do that, you'll put that in this bit here. So focus areas. So you even improve, well, you even say things you want to improve on, which is really good because this shows me that these are things that you're aware of that you want to get better at. So it shows that you're passionate about it. So MBVM. So even break down why it is that you use MVVM and realize that this wasn't the architecture for me. So this information is really good. So super, super brownie points for this. I'm really impressed with this one. Because you're basically showing me again how your mind thinks in terms of deciding which architecture you would pick. So this is really great. And you also talk about coordinators as well. So you're also now detailing how and why you use certain navigation within your application. So again, great job. Now, lesson learned. So, damn, yes, you're on fire, bro. So, lesson learned, you would say, don't make unnecessary abstractions. So, okay, cool. So, here you're basically saying that you don't feel to create like, stuff for the sake of doing it for because it's there. And you also wrote here that you need to have a clear plan. So, in my opinion, right, this information that you've got here, if you was to submit an application and we were hiring an iOS developer and I read this stuff, I would be really impressed and basically be putting you forward to go on to the next stage because I really like the way that you've detailed and gone to, examples as to why and how you thought about approaching this project and a problem. The only thing I'd criticize with this repo is the order of it because I feel like this information should be at the top and it's not additional information. This is the main information. And I feel like you should have a GIF of the app in here. So that was the last review that I did. If you enjoyed this type of video, feel free to submit your review. And you can also follow me on Twitter to actually get updates for when I'll be doing another one of these portfolio reviews in the future as well. Also, as well, if you enjoyed, I really appreciate if you supported the channel, and you can actually do that simply by either, donating with the little donate button, or alternative, you can buy me a coffee as well. And if you want to support me for free, then it's pretty simple. All you need to do is either share this video or, give it a like, comment, as well as subscribe and hit the notification bell to get updates for whenever I release a new video. I'm really hoping to do more of these portfolio reviews because I really enjoy reviewing people's portfolios and giving feedback as well. Like career development is like my second passion. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and I'm going to be definitely be doing more of them. That's everything from me. I'll catch you on a bit. Deuces.